The Milwaukee Bucks didn't exactly have the season that they were looking to have. Injuries to Damian Lillard and some issues along with the whole team being productive outside of Giannis in the playoffs ultimately led to their demise in the postseason. I'm your host, Joey Mercer. We're going to break down everything you need to know about what the Bucks will be doing forward, as is Giannis Antetokounmpo's future with them in jeopardy. Before we get into it there today, though, I do want to remind everyone, if you are watching this content, to make sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely free. Turn on that bell for notifications, and every single time we upload, you'll be able to stay up to date with our takes on the NBA and everything you need to know about it, because about 99% of you that watch these videos are currently not subscribed to the channel, so make sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button, and we'll be sure to keep you up to date with everything you need to know, so why not go ahead and do it. But without further ado, we'll get into the topic at hand today, being the Bucks not trading Giannis Antetokounmpo without his request. Mark Stein went out and said, "I don't think Giannis himself does not want to go to the Bucks and say trade me, but next year there's no way with Damian Lillard carrying a salary of nearly $60 million. They don't have control of their own first-round pick till 2031. They don't have a pathway to build a contender around him at this point, but the rumbles that you always hear are that just having Giannis is so important to them financially. They're not going to trade him unless he pushes it." And that's absolutely accurate. Of course, Giannis is the centerpiece and face of this franchise and has been for a very long time, but it's very difficult for them to build anything around him after making that Damian Lillard trade. Then he goes on to say on his YouTube, the whole league is on edge, waiting to see will Giannis's representatives go to the Bucks and say, "It's time. Move us, hold the auction, and start over." I don't think the Bucks want to do that. You can make the case that they should want to do that they should see. Let's go out and get that largest haul we can get back for Giannis, but I don't think the Bucks are there. We're going to see where Giannis is. And I think Giannis was most definitely frustrated, and that was very easy to see and blatant at that with what happened between him and John Halliburton after that game. A simple comment saying that, Halliburton was better and kind of putting the jersey in his face. He did not like that. It was a towel with Tyrese's name on it saying that that's what we do. Giannis did not like those comments whatsoever, but he definitely, wasn't calm-minded there at all. He was definitely hot-headed in that situation. Now John Halliburton is banned from all Indiana Pacers games, and that's crazy, home and away at that. And I think that definitely escalated to a point that it didn't necessarily need for it to get to, but a lot of it had to do with Giannis confronting him as opposed to just walking away. Now, when we do look at the situation for the Bucks, we can see right here, this is who they've got on the books now for the next couple of seasons. I just want to focus on next year more specifically, but pause this if you'd like, and you can go over and view everything that you need to see there. But we can then see that Giannis next year will be 31 years old. He's currently 30. He's going to be paid $54 million. That's fine for him. Dame, the same amount. And we don't know exactly where Dame's going to be. The green there, if you can see over the 2026-27 season for Dame, that's a player option. I'd say he'll be picking that up at this point, so that puts them in some more financial jeopardy for that season. They have Kyle Kuzma on the books for $22 million next year, and he did not play so great this season. At least the contract goes down a little bit, but it's not really enough for them to make any noise whatsoever. Brook Lopez is an unrestricted free agent. I cannot see him making anywhere near $23 million at 37 years old based on how he played last year. So they could definitely bring him back if they need to, or just simply move on. But if he is to be brought back, it would be on a much, much smaller deal. Bobby Portis player option at $13.5 million. Probably going to pick that one up there. He could want a little bit more, but if he wants to stay in Milwaukee, that's going to be the price tag he's going to have to pick up, as they don't have any financial flexibility. Pat Connaughton, probably going to pick up that player option. They weren't even really playing him this year, and at $9 million, he will be back for sure. I can guarantee you some more money on the books for Milwaukee. Kevin Porter Jr., he may or may not pick that up. Somebody might want to offer him maybe a little bit more, but I think that's around what he's worth. He could be worth up to 5 million, but he might want to stay in Milwaukee just for that security because it's been so hard for him to stay on an NBA franchise. You've got AJ Green on a great deal again next year at $2.3 million. Jericho Sims, Torian Prince, and Gary Trent Jr. unrestricted free agents. Gary Trent is going to want a lot more money than $2 million. Torian Prince will probably stay around the same amount, as Jericho Sims might not even be on an NBA team next year the way that he played this year. Andre Jackson Jr. have got him at 2.2 million, as well as Chris Livingston. So they're both on the books, as well as Tyler Smith still on that rookie deal. You've got Ryan Rollins as a restricted free agent, and you might have to pick that up based on the fact you don't really have anybody. And then the other last three are just Stanley Amude, who's probably gone, Pete Nance, and Jamari Bouye, who may not be on the team. They're both on the two-way contracts. So not a great situation. There's some player options, especially Pat Connaughton, that you do not want them to pick up. And then Damian Lillard in a couple of years, if he is injured and not back to Dame time, is not going to be a great contract for them in the 2026-27 season. Now, how does this actually look for the Milwaukee Bucks? Well, we can see here, this is the cap minimum, active cap, dead cap, cap holds, and total cap allocations, which all equal up to be the cap space. So next season, they're in the hole for $73 million. It is the worst season they have on the books for the next few years. A lot of cap space there in 2028-29, but that is because Giannis will be a unrestricted free agent if he picks up that player option in 2027-28. Those are hypothetical numbers there. That's if everybody picks up their player option, doesn't get any immediate extensions, of course. If you're into the first and second apron, there it is right there. They do have some room under the first and second apron, but not really enough to make any noise. They're still going to be heavily into the tax, as we can see right there, the active tax that they have. They'll be paying $23 million next year. And then, yeah, it keeps getting a little bit better. They have $23 million of room, for next year. This year, they paid a $11 million extra tax. The estimated tax bill was almost $30 million, and they got bounced in the first round. Not great for them at all. Then we can see the upcoming deadlines that they have. Of course, you have Kevin Porter Jr. and Bobby Portis's player options are on June 29th, 2025. We can then see Ryan Rollins and Stanley Amude are restricted free agents. They might bring back Ryan Rollins because they have to. I cannot see them bringing back Stanley Amude. Andre Jackson Jr., there is the guaranteed contract for next season. He is eligible for an extension. They may offer that to him. I'm not 100% sure, but I do think they'll try to extend AJ Green just with his shooting ability, and they don't have any draft picks coming up. Kyle Kuzma, I can't see an extension happening unless it's a massive pay cut. I don't think they'd want him. Same with Chris Livingston. I think they're going to stay put on that one for sure. Now we can see the last thing that I want to talk about here is the future draft picks. So this year they're swapping their pick with New Orleans via New Orleans swap for Milwaukee or New Orleans swap with Milwaukee. So you can see that one right there. They might have a pick next year in New Orleans, depending on where they're to. That's going to be interesting. That could play big for them. But other than that, it's not looking great. The least favorite of Milwaukee and New Orleans, then other goes to the New Orleans Pelicans there for the Atlanta pick. They've shipped it off there to Atlanta, that is, in 2027. Then when you look at the New Orleans and Milwaukee, the most favorable of Milwaukee and New Orleans, then other goes to the Atlanta Hawks there that year in 2027. In 2028, they're swapping with Portland with Portland via Portland swap for Milwaukee, and then in 2029, they move their pick to Portland, most and least favorable of Boston, Milwaukee, and Portland to Portland, then other to Washington via the Boston to Portland, via Milwaukee to Portland, via Portland to Washington. So a lot of things happening with picks. That's with almost every team now in the NBA, but they don't have a guaranteed. They just get to keep their unprotected first-round pick now until 2031, and it's very confusing on the next 4 years if you can follow what was put there, but absolutely no picks on the books for this year coming up. And then in 2026, it starts to get a little bit dicey what sort of pick they're going to get. And that's if those teams right now, like New Orleans and Portland, aren't going to develop by that point in time. I think Portland will not have a great pick by that point. If they continue what they did in the later half of the season. You let me know what you think about this. Will Giannis be staying with the Bucks? What are they able to do with the cap space? And how does this look for them in the next few years? You let me know everything about that down in the comment section below. This has been your host, Joey Mercer. Make sure if you made it this far to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next video.